recording.
It's funny for us to be
such a long way apart.
Long way. We've been used to being really
sitting on
close
top
at
of
the
each other at
radio.
the radio show.
Well, welcome to our podcast today, Kay. And
Small business
nice to
sorted.
see us. Yes, we're bright and early and everything.
Yes.
And our topic today is booked out today and panicking tomorrow. And I thought that was going to be a really interesting and a good topic, because often we are booked out, right? But then tomorrow we may not be, and then you start to panic, right? And I've seen that a lot, especially in today's economy.
Right.
A year or two ago, I think everybody was booked out pretty much all the time, but actually just lately it's been a little more trickier, and there's a few mistakes we all make, isn't there? So
I think we all make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
I've certainly made those mistakes.
Yeah.
I go gung-ho on social media.
Yep.
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever I can find.
Yep.
And then panicking because I haven't got any leads.
Yes.
And then get the business and become so busy that all that social media
You stop.
falls by the wayside.
You
And
stop?
You just stop, yeah.
Yeah. I have to say I probably do that for my coaching business as well. I get really busy and then I go, oh, I don't need any more customers. And then I just sort of pull right back on all my sales stuff that I was doing. Or you may not follow up as quickly, you know, all that sort of stuff because you're too busy. But then it all sort of peters out, doesn't it? And I feel like it's a common trap.
Yep.
So that's our subject today, right? So
Correct.
something to do with that. So,
Yeah, and something else you tend to stop, or I stopped, was networking.
yeah.
And I enjoy networking, but I kept on with BNI because I was a BNI member, which is probably one of the good things about BNI, Business Networking International, because you have to go each week and you have to give referrals. So I hadn't thought about that before with BNI, that it is good in that respect.
You to focus on your business, you know, because you've got to
Exactly.
constantly be on the game for your own business as well.
Yeah, but I did stop doing other networking, Northern Beaches and Beyond networking. I used to go to, stopped going to,
Manly Chamber.
started going to again. Yeah, Manly Chamber, Monavale Chamber. Yeah, you just don't find, and rightly so in some respects. It's a dilemma. Isn't it?
Is a dilemma.
It's a dilemma. You've now got the business, or for the time being, but for how long? I think it depends what type of business you are too.
No, I don't think so. I feel unless you're an established business and have your sales and everything working really well, I feel like a lot of business owners will, when you start out, you hustle, right? For every lead that you could get, you hustle, you out there networking, you out there talking to people, you're pushing your business down the road, right? And you build that momentum up. Then you get busy and then you stop the momentum. You actually stop that whole sales, but it's not just marketing, it's sales as well.
Yes.
And then that then causes a dilemma where it takes about a month for that to stop that momentum, and then it slowly winds itself down. And then you end up with everything going quiet.
Right.
And then you lose a couple of clients,
That's the thing. Well, the reason I said it depends what type of business. Tradies constantly, in my mind, need new business because the jobs only last so long. If you think of consulting, like you and me, we don't necessarily constantly need new leads, because if that happened, we'd be constantly growing to a degree, because you don't tend to lose clients at the same rate.
Yes,
as
true.
You
Because
actually. However, the risk there is if you lose a big client, then you're basically in the
poop.
Yes, whatever you want to call it, which I've seen didn't happen to me. I've seen happen to other bookkeepers.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it on Facebook, basically, that, oh no, I've just lost a big client. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So again, back to the beginning.
It's that, and I guess we'll talk about this a little later, but it's how do you stop this?
Yeah.
But I guess it's that it's so hard for when you're in your business and say you don't have a lot of stuff or you don't have your processes and stuff there, to have that consistency of just focus of doing. And sometimes we don't know, I know that I hear this all the time. I'm too busy, and I really don't like that word.
Somebody once told me, or several people told me frequently, you should never say I'm too busy, because that also gives people the impression
that you're too busy for them.
You're not taking on more work, or you're too busy for even the clients you've got. So you should never say I'm too busy. There's always a way to rephrase it. I can't remember what that was or is, but yes. But again, you should never stop everything just because you get busy. However, the dilemma is...
It's a phrase that gets bantered around a lot, doesn't it? Hey, I'm just too busy. I can't take on any more work. Sometimes you hear it be, I'm booked out till Christmas. I can't take on any more. I'm too busy. And then I go, and to say you're too busy even to have a meeting with someone or to catch up with someone or even to talk to people, I feel like it's you actually being very disrespectful. It comes across as that you're too busy for everything and everyone.
But how do you find the time?
Or you come across as, for me, I look at someone who keeps saying that. I'm going, are you that disorganized that you can't be? And I'm not the most organized person, but are you that disorganized that you can't even organize a half an hour meeting with someone? Like, really?
True. That shouldn't be the case.
I could be a damn good client and you're too busy for that. Like, so I feel like using that word is just, you could say, oh yeah, we've got plenty on. That's all you got to say, right? I've got plenty on, but hey, let's have a chat. Like I think it's just such a common thing to say, but it's just, I don't think people realize just how they affecting their business by
no. But then again,
and their reputation.
How do you overcome that busy? How do you continue with your marketing, which is, I think, what you should be doing? You should never stop, right?
Yeah. So why don't we wheel this back and just go, like why being fully booked can be dangerous?
Yes, okay.
So why do you think fully booked can be dangerous?
From my point of view, the fact that you're not looking into the future. You have no pipeline, or likely you may have a pipeline, but we are assuming that because you're stopping your marketing, that or you will, sales, or your sales, you will therefore have no pipeline. Therefore, in the future, you will have the problem of panicking tomorrow because you've got no business.
And sometimes you feel like you've reached your goal, that I'm so busy now. This is what I started my business for. This is what I wanted, and then you get so busy that it's not through laziness that you stop. I feel like you're just so busy, you feel like you've reached your goal in a way, but business doesn't work like that. And you do have attrition and you do need to constantly have that pipeline. Even if you have a waiting list, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, true.
But you should never, and the amount of small businesses that stop and start because of that, it's like when you have no business, or when you lose a lot of business and you haven't been doing your marketing and your sales properly, or you stopped it, then you've got to start. It's like starting again. We've both done that, right? We've both had to start again. I go, oh man, am I back here again? And I go, damn it, I thought I'd never say I'd do that again, and there I am doing it again.
And talking about having a waiting list, that can actually help you to increase your prices because people want to use you as a bookkeeper, tradie, whatever, but they realize maybe that they can only get you if they pay a higher price, a premium.
Yeah.
It's always the same. If something's scarce, usually whoever it is can charge a premium price for it. So you should think about it maybe in that way.
And being a bit organized about it, so I'd love to work with you and actually vet them, if they are a... When I say vet them, it's really knowing who your best clients are and who you want to work with and, call them A, B, C, D, E clients and you want to work with your A, B, C clients, and so you could actually, if they are an A client, you put them on the waiting list or a B client, but you wouldn't put an E client, say, on the waiting list because then often what causes you to be busy and then when you stop, there may be a lot of E clients in there that may not stay for a long time.
Yeah.
And may not be good for your business and may not be bringing in enough profit. You can be busy but not profitable, right?
That's true. You can be busy but not profitable.
the sayings that I hear when people are really booked out and stuff, they go, I can't do any more marketing. That's it. Just we're finished. Close that Google ads or whatever they're using. The other thing people say is, I'll follow up those leads later, or I'll follow up those quotes. I don't need more work. So, weren't you saying this morning in the car? Yeah, tell us that story.
Well, we want some work
done. This is someone who's busy today, but it's probably going to be panicking tomorrow.
I don't know the reason, but we want some work done on both of our decks, front and back, and it's actually going to be quite a large job. And we had 2 people come round to quote. I think it was 2 weeks ago now. They both came round.
Yeah.
Nobody sent us a quote, and we're still waiting. So it's just amazing that people take the time to come round and quote.
Yeah.
And then don't at least have the courtesy maybe to turn around and say, do you think I'm too busy? I don't have time.
You know what astounds me in this? Is that they've taken the time to book you in.
I know.
And they've driven there.
Yes.
And they've walked around your house.
Yes.
And they've chatted with you guys and drove back to another job or whatever. That's an hour of their time. And what's that worth to them? $150, maybe $200, whatever they want to call. They've just given that away for nothing,
Yeah.
And you guys
ridiculous.
are keen. You guys want it done like now,
Yeah.
So
I think sometime I'll have to find out why.
You should ring them.
When we've had the job done by somebody else.
What are they going to say?
They're too busy. Probably.
So sorry, I've just been so busy. I'm flat out. I just haven't had time.
It really makes you wonder.
I think that's the cause. It's a nice problem to have, but it's a super bad problem to have when you wake up one day and your whole calendar. Service businesses, any business, right? When you retail, you have people walking up to you, so that's a little differently. But yeah, you wake up to an empty diary or an empty calendar, and that's very scary.
Yeah. Something I've just thought about as a bookkeeper, I could and I have given business to other bookkeepers, so I've kept my marketing and sales going. Yeah, and I was fully booked. What was the phrase that I should use? But I didn't.
You were at capacity.
I was at capacity, but I actually passed those leads on to other people. Or I asked other bookkeepers to help me with that job.
Yes.
So I think tradies can work that way.
Yes.
They could ask there's some other tradies to help them. If for that particular job.
I just feel if you're going to invest in all of that, and every business needs to invest in sales and marketing and trying to get leads, like you can't not get that. I know we've come out of a very good period of time where literally anybody could have a good business. Like work was just flowing everywhere. People were spending money everywhere, right? It was a golden period of time, wasn't it? And you didn't have to work very hard to be good in your business. Now you actually have to go back to being a normal business owner, how it always is. So we kind of had that golden stage, and now we've go back to what's normal, And I think it's a shock to people, and also I think when you do this 2 or 3 times, you've got to start asking some questions. And I think I was just looking here, some of the things that if you hear yourself saying, like, I'll follow up those quotes later, I'll stop that marketing, I don't need more work. I don't have time to train anybody. That's a good one.
Yes.
So I don't have time to train anybody. I've heard that. I'll look at the numbers when things calm down.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea either. And also I'll get back to planning when we're not so far out.
Yeah, also not a good idea.
Not a good idea. So when you hear yourself saying things like that, then you know you are busy today, but you may be panicking tomorrow.
Correct.
Right? So I don't think it's because the business owner is lazy.
No.
I don't think that at all, or careless.
No.
But I do think in most cases they are just hardworking and committed. But the problem is that their business, you don't have the processes or the systems or the capabilities of knowing what to do when that work comes in and being aware of that, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is. And a business can look successful from the outside, can't it?
Yes.
But when they look like they're busy and that. But what would be some of the things that they wouldn't be if you had to?
Well, they might not be profitable.
Yeah.
If they're not looking at their numbers, which is one of the things that happens when you get too busy, or it happens anyway, even if you're not too busy, they won't know if they've got a profitable business or not.
No.
They may be working
so hard,
whatever off, but not making a profit.
Yeah.
They might have incorrect pricing.
And not even aware of it, right?
And not aware of it because they're not looking at their numbers.
The other thing is they may not have a good follow-up system. So they may have lots of leads or inquiries, but that falls through the cracks. So you hear, I had a client, right, and that we used to catch up twice a month. And I used to say to him, how many quotes, because this was what he wanted me to help him with, but he just struggled with it. And I said, how many quotes have you got to do? And he said, well, I've got 30. And every time I spoke to him, it went up like 40, 50, until we had up to like 92. But he was so proud of how many quotes he had. And then I said to him, it was almost like he had them as trophies in his office, like, I've got this much pipeline. But I said to him, but how old are they? And then he'd try to change the subject, or go back to how many he's got and how pleased he was with that. But I said, how old are they and how many have you actually done? Oh, well, I've just been really busy and busy. I haven't had time to do it. And I said, so how old are some of them? And some of them were 4 or 5. And I said, you're better off making a phone call and see if they still want you.
That's true, yeah.
Because they probably had the work done. I said, how do you sit on a quote for 4 months? I said, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But it was like he was so proud of, and I used to say to him, this is like trophy hunting. Like, you're just hunting these things as a trophy. And I said, you're not doing anything about it. And consequently, his business really, really did poorly. And he was scrambling for work all of the time. And he had all this opportunity, but he just kept sitting on them. It's like he was so proud of it, but he didn't want to do anything about it. I don't know what that was.
So people should have a system as well for logging quotes. I actually like the system that Hire a Hubby have got, because I'm now getting a quote from Hire a Hubby for our decks. But first of all, I made a phone call. I got a phone call back from the admin girl. Then we got booked in. Then we got confirmation that someone was coming. Then we got a reminder that they're coming. And I'm absolutely confident that
they're going to come.
They're going to come. And we will get the quote pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It was just, it's impressive when you can see a good system working.
And consistent communication, which is all the customer wants. It doesn't matter what business you're in. That's all a customer wants is consistent confirmation, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and then if you can get your quote within 24 hours of them being there.
I think you kind of
I think you'd be surprised, wouldn't you?
I would be surprised, but I certainly think I expect a quote within a few days.
Yeah.
And certainly within a week.
But if you got it in 24 hours, how would that make you feel?
I would. Fantastic.
Yeah, you would think a lot. You'd probably accept them because they've done that, right?
Impressed, So
I hope everybody out there is listening to
I'll
this.
let you know next time if when the quote came in.
Yes, God, hire a hubby, do the right thing. So the other thing is that you may have cash coming in, but no cash flow forecast. So you might be really busy and you have all this cash coming in, right? But you don't have a forecast. So when things are quiet, are you spending that money now and not saving it for later for when you got like your workers' comp to pay, your BAS to pay, your super to pay, your wages to pay, all that sort of stuff? I don't think many people are aware of that. And if they're definitely not looking at their numbers, they won't really be able to predict their cash flow at all, would they? But if you have a full diary all the time, you don't really have visibility of what's coming in the future because you're too busy worrying about doing the work in the diary right now, right?
Yep.
Or the calendar. And if you have loyal customers, to say that decking guy that you've used him a few times and you go, what the hell's going on? If you have loyal customers and you don't have a good system of follow-up and doing the work and letting people know, you lose those loyal customers too, don't you?
Yes, you do.
I think your story is a great example of that.
Yeah.
So, Kay, so obviously our next part of this, right, is what causes this panic cycle. So I know we've touched on a bit of this. So what do you think? What is the main cause of this?
I think the main cause is that phrase that we're not saying, becoming too busy.
Yeah.
But then not having any systems in place.
Yep.
Not looking at your numbers.
Yeah. Not making time for anything, really.
Not making time. No pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think there's no, and maybe there's no clear pipeline system either. So it's all very ad hoc. You get a whole lot of work in at once. And
what sort of a pipeline system would you have?
Well, a lot of these job management systems, right, would have, you have those things that they call statuses or queues, or they have different words for them, but mainly I call them statuses. So if a job comes in, you would say, or a lead comes in, you would have a system where it would sit in unassigned or new lead, you may call it. Yep. And then you would say all those new leads need to be followed up, and you'd have a process in that pipeline to say we follow them up, on the day, 24 hours. Then they would progress from there to saying like the lead's been scheduled. So then that'll go into your job management system as a quote scheduled. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you would look at your quote scheduled, and all those quote schedules that you've been to, they all need to be quoted within 24 hours, say, of you visiting. Then you would then they would then go into quoted, which you would then have a system of quote follow-ups.
Okay.
And how often do you want to follow up? What's best practice? All that. Do you make a phone call? Do you send emails? What's the reminder? Mm-hmm. And then from there, they'll go into either not going ahead, or they would go into quote accepted. Yeah. And then you would have a system then of following, so confirming that and then following
You would
up.
recommend absolutely everybody has that kind of a system, right?
Yeah, so that's your pipeline, right? So then you know how many jobs are in your system then, don't you?
Because you can't really do it manually, can you? Not successfully.
Well, you could, but I've seen like amazing whiteboards in people's offices,
true.
right?
I haven't thought about the whiteboard.
But it's only as good as the person who keeps that whiteboard. But our job management system is only as good as the accuracy of those statuses. Yes. But the other thing people have done in the past, I feel, is that you could have a good spreadsheet. Where you may do a traffic light system, green as they knew or whatever, or red they're not going ahead.
Once upon a time, I liked spreadsheets. I don't like them anymore. I don't know. No, it's funny, isn't it? I don't know. Spreadsheets were my life at once upon a time, but
maybe just stick
not.
Of them.
Yeah, I think just because there's all these systems now that you can use.
Yeah, that's true.
So you use Salesforce, right?
The Hire a Hubby system is Salesforce. So they use that, but there's lots of different systems out of there.
Things like Tradie does it have that kind of a
Yes,
system?
It does. Okay. And they actually have their statuses, you can actually name them whatever you want, which I actually really love, because everybody has a different word for things. Yeah. So you could have, quote schedule to follow up. You could have, quote schedule followed up, or whatever. But you can have as many statuses as you like. Fergus is pretty good.
Okay, I had Fergus, yes.
There's things called Service Titan, Arrowflow, Simpro.
Does Service Mate do that?
They do it, but it's a really I struggle with Service Mate in the way my brain thinks more logically, whereas I find Service Mate is a little not that. And so they have what they call queues, which are like little circles that you then have to name and create and then attach them to the job. But it's really hard to see all your jobs in one area in ServiceMate, which I really struggle, whereas in Tradify and Arrowflow and Salesforce and that, you can see all your jobs in one report or in all the different statuses. So you could just click in there and go. But again, they have to be accurate, right? So, but it is a great way to do that too.
How often should you follow up previous customers? I'm sure that once you get busy and you've got lots of work, you probably don't worry about contacting
when you're busy, you reckon?
Yeah, but that's something that you would certainly do as soon as the work stops. You'd go. The first thing you're probably thinking of doing is contacting people who've used you before to find out if they need something doing again.
Or the quotes that you've actually done and start following them up.
Yeah.
The amount of people that I've come across that have quotes in their system, and this is any business, right? This isn't just trades business, but this could be any business. or projects that they need, that they've quoted on, that they don't actually follow up because they feel like they're too busy. And if you never got followed up, and there's a new marketing sort of stuff that they've brought out where they've done surveys where people now need to be, for them to actually approve your quote or even to get you as a lead, they need 11 touch points now. Okay. 11.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's too many.
It used to be 6 about 5 years ago. Now it's 11.
Yeah.
So that means your customers are distracted as well. So for them to actually take the time out to call you and get you to do that quote, people are living in a very instantaneous world too. We expect people to return calls within 5 minutes, right? We want that quote to be there in 5 minutes, right? So we want them to turn up within 5 minutes. But it's like when people start to say, I could only fit you in 3 months, you run such a high risk of that customer going elsewhere and looking for someone else.
Because the other thing is, sometimes you have to chase.
That good. Do you reckon people are that good that people will wait 6 months for you?
I think it happens. Or people think people are so good. They think people are so good.
Or do you think business owners get in their own head and think they're so good that people will wait for them?
I don't know. Some of them, yes. Yes.
I wonder if that happens.
Maybe people just get used to waiting for things.
I don't know.
All right.
You will get frustrated. Right. Imagine if you just sat and waited for those two people to send their quotes in.
Yeah. No.
I mean, how long would you wait for? Well, you have 2 weeks, right?
I think to be honest, what would have happened if this one doesn't work, my husband will be buying standing equipment,
doing it himself,
and decking oil, doing it himself, and he has done it himself before.
I know, but he just doesn't want to do it.
Well, he's getting older.
Yeah,
kneeling down's not
great.
Yeah, you know what it's like when you get a little bit older, and it'll only make him grumpy. So we don't want to make him grumpy, do we? So we'll pay for it.
Then everybody, even the cats, will suffer, won't they?
Right. So what's the next point? Where are we moving on to now? We've talked about quotes.
A business should be able to answer these questions, right? So how many quotes are currently waiting for approval?
We've said that, yeah.
So we've talked about that. What is the total value of those quotes? Okay. So knowing that could be useful.
Yeah.
Which jobs are being approved or confirmed?
Yeah.
Like how many are those? Like you should know that.
Yes, absolutely.
Which jobs are likely not to get locked in? So you followed up 3 or 4 times. Get them out of there. You know what I mean?
Like, maybe somebody else has got the job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which clients need to be followed up, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then what are the gaps in your next 4 to 8 weeks? So if you've got gaps, so say you are booked out for a month, but then you look at your next 4 weeks, or your next, what are your gaps in there and how are you proposing it? I think at the moment, a lot of businesses are running maybe week to week. And so you do need to hustle to fill up that next week because that next week comes around, especially if you've got 5 or 12 staff, right?
Yep.
What type of work is coming in? So for you as a bookkeeper, you would like to know what was your grade A type of client? Was that doing everything?
Pretty much. And actually, no, my grade A client is more, they do a little bit, but I do the higher level stuff. The consulting, the reviewing, the analysing, the
making sure it's done
letting them know what their figures are, informing them about their business.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. I like that. And then what type of work do we actually want more of? So to actually review that. So you would like more of those. So for me, I like really motivated clients that want to get their business to that next level. Like I'd love working with people who are motivated to improve, then I get caught in their motivation as well. And that sort of does well for me.
Yep.
The second thing about that, what causes this is we've spoken about this is that marketing and sales by switching it off and switching it on, switching it off, doing some, not some. Consistency.
Yes, you should always keep it consistent.
Is the key, right? We've talked about that.
Yes.
Poor follow-up, we've dealt that. Yep. So I think consistency with your marketing, if you're doing 3 posts a week, do 3 posts a week. If you're doing Google ads, maybe turn down the amount you spend, but don't stop, because it takes a while for those algorithms to build up, doesn't it?
Yeah. What about is hiring staff or knowing when to hire your staff? Is that on your list somewhere?
Yes. So hiring fast and getting rid of bad staff too slowly can also cause you could hire wrong staff too, right? Which can also add to your panic later because they could cause a whole lot of, rework or warranty work, or maybe they just don't fit into the team and cause the team to get all upset. Then you could end up losing. And this often happens when you're busy, right? So you may hire anybody with a heartbeat and then you find out that they're not that good, but then it disrupts the whole team, right? And it's a bit like you see that, like I've seen that in many service businesses as well. You may hire someone and then they can't do the work well, or they leave because you're so busy you haven't given them time, or your systems aren't good enough and people leave because of that too, don't they? We've talked about this not knowing the numbers, but I wouldn't mind just going back. Your understanding, having accurate numbers and knowing your profitability, knowing your labor cost, knowing how much profit you're making from the work that you've currently got. So then you know what your cash flow can be or whatever, and you know what you're making. How many people owe you money? You may stop following up people who owe you money.
I would imagine that is one of the first things that happens once you get too busy.
Yeah.
That you do stop following up on outstanding monies. And it's the worst thing you could do.
I mean, imagine I had a client once that had $1 million of money outstanding.
That's scary.
Imagine how much cash flow that could have been. I mean, it was a bigger business, but $1 million?
No, it's ridiculous.
That's a lot of money, right? That's charity work if you don't get that money in, you know? And then what clients are costing you too much time?
Oh, yes. 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 I'm not thinking of anybody in particular, but that is so true. Maybe not. It probably is the same for tradies. I don't know. Because I imagine for tradies, you can have a customer who is constantly saying, no, I don't like that, or it's not quite right, or whatever, So, yeah, absolutely.
But I think that happens in a lot of businesses. You can have customers that really, they may only be 20% of your profit, but they take 80% of your time, that whole 80-20 rule thing. It's really interesting. Like if you do have a couple of very needy customers, you got to ask yourself, why are they so needy? And are you also encouraging that neediness? Because it might fuel your ego sometimes, but it could be that you get caught up in their perpetual dramas that they have, and they can take up a lot of your time. I know I've had definitely clients like that over the years.
I have, because as a bookkeeping business,
I think we all do. I don't think it's unusual. Just being aware of them and knowing how much of your time you're giving away.
And there's people who go over. You might have a contract with them that you do this, but then they ask you questions about that. Yeah. And they continually sort of want more help, more advice than they're actually paying you for. Yeah. So So what's the
So that when everything depends on the owner, or the owner's doing too much, can also cause that problem as well.
Yeah, true.
Because then they don't have the time, literally, do they? So, and I feel like that then makes the business fragile as well, when the owner's doing everything and you're not delegating. And the owner's quoting, selling, delivering, managing stuff.
Well, it's when you're doing everything, isn't it?
Invoicing, marketing, making everything. That's not a business system. That's a business being dependent, isn't it?
Dependent on what?
On the business owner.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means they wouldn't be able to, then the business owner gets overloaded.
Yes.
And then the whole business is already fragile, so it's hard for it to come back or to get going. So what would you stop this from happening? What do you think we should do to stop this from happening?
I would have I know what it says on the piece of paper. I remembered. It says I would have a weekly pipeline meeting. Is that right?
Yes.
With I think that, you know what? I think that sounds a bit daft. I wouldn't say it's wrong, but I think you should call it something else besides a weekly because if it's just you and your business, it seems a bit silly having a pipeline.
You're coming with me now. We're going to go have a pipeline meeting.
What could you call it? You need a better phrase than having a weekly pipeline.
Why not
review?
Just a weekly review
of your pipeline.
Of what work is coming in.
Yes, that sounds better to me. I like that. Yeah.
It sounds, pipeline.
Maybe people will remember it that way.
Pipeline is a lot with these CRMs now. Everything's called a deal and a pipe. What's your pipeline?
Makes you wonder where pipeline came from, doesn't it?
I think a pipeline probably goes back to the days of oil. We have a pipeline of oil coming in to make or pipeline of water.
You'd think they would have come up with a different. I don't know.
I think it's like
more modern
you've got this
phrase.
Constant flow coming through the pipes, right? So that means that's money profit.
It's not always a constant.
And
flow.
I guess having a constant flow of leads coming through is probably
how nice would that be for any business?
That constant
flow,
grade A. Clients
it doesn't happen though, does it? Whatever you do, it still doesn't happen. But
yes,
you can do your best.
No, it happens. Some businesses get it right. Well, how do you think big corporates and everything get that?
I suppose so, yeah.
They just got a great
They've got
system.
a whole team of people doing the marketing.
But they probably started out with one person initially.
Yeah, true.
Didn't Jeff Bezos from Amazon, he had one little store, like storage center thing that he started out in. He sat on a pallet. His desk was a pallet.
Okay.
And he's sitting on a little wooden box. And he did that for something like 4 or 5 years with just one little light. And he just worked his ass off in there. So, everything starts with any big business started off with one person.
I wonder if it's more important, this is probably a silly question, to concentrate on your pipeline or, there's probably not an or your current
clients
work. Yeah, it's sort of like
there's both, right? So you need new leads to come in, right? New people, that constant flow of people coming in. Then you need your current clients. You've got to retain them. Yes. Like, why would you spend all that time and energy getting them and then you don't spend any time retaining them?
Although with tradies, there's no sort of
but tradies need to, because they could get you back. Or they could refer you to friends.
Yeah, true.
Or to their neighbours. Yep. Or to family members.
It's a difficult situation though, isn't it? What do I do?
I think customer experience is something that gets lost when you're too busy or your pipeline's too busy.
That's something we hadn't touched on. Yes, customer
service.
That's important. Yes.
So there's certain things that customers, do you really know what your perfect client really likes is customer service? Feedback and follow up, consistent communication. Do they like a call from you every now and again? True. Like as a bookkeeper, if my bookkeeper doesn't call me once a month, I'm not liking that. No. I want them to call me and have a chat with me. I'm that kind of person.
I think we're back to communication now.
I don't like my accountant not calling me.
Yeah, no. And a lot of them don't. But I was thinking, someone came to put a cat door into one of our doors downstairs.
Because they were waking you up throughout the night?
Well, the cats were waking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning wanting to go outside.
Which you would do.
Which I did, into the enclosure. So after 4 years of having the cats, I decided maybe we'll get a cat door.
A doggy door,
which actually ended up being a doggy door because they're slightly bigger. But I was just impressed with the company who did the work, because I called, actually, I sent an email on a Sunday. Now, I'm not saying people have to do this. She responded to me on Sunday.
Oh.
I spoke to the girl because there was a few questions on
you
the
can
Monday.
With AR agents now,
Well, it was actually her. And they actually live in Bowral. So we're in Sydney. They're in Bowral.
Oh, wow.
She actually spoke to me on the Monday. She was just such a lovely, pleasant girl. I can't quite put a finger on
what they did right.
No, but she was just not formal, just very friendly. Got the information she needed. I got what I needed. She booked him in to come on the Friday to do a quote, which he did.
All the way from Bowral.
All the way from Bowral.
Wow.
And he'd got I think he used ServiceMate. He had a list of all the jobs, all the things he had to do in the day. And he went through a few and I said, "You're not going to get those done today."
No way.
In actual, and then it took 2 weeks, and for the glass to be
made up. Yeah.
And they came and installed
because they cut the hole out, right? And they put
they have to. Yeah, they have to. We had to have the whole window pane
replaced.
But he was just as nice as she was, friendly.
So they got a
professional but friendly. It's actually a husband and wife who do it, but just.
Easy to deal with.
Very easy to deal with. Yeah, no.
So I feel like customer service, that's probably it in a nutshell, isn't it?
I think so,
that people like to deal with people that are easy to deal with.
Yeah.
Or it feels easy to do business with them.
Yes, and I hate to say this, a lot of companies now have people in the Philippines or India or wherever answering their phones.
Outsourced, yeah.
It's not the same. It's not the same. You might get the same. You might get the job done.
Yeah.
But it's not quite the same. It's even like QuickBooks, who I deal with a lot, and actually call quite a bit, because there's often questions I have about QuickBooks. Not so many about Xero, but I think they've outsourced a lot of theirs now. And it's not quite, it's a bit plasticky.
Or clunky.
You know, how are you today?
Yeah.
You know, can you give me your name, number, la, la, la. I feel
Date
like
of
a bit
birth.
of a, they're not
Where you were born.
Yeah, it's a bit, it's not.
And then they go, then you get moved to another person and they ask you the same stuff again.
Actually,
you just go,
the other day I did a chat, and I've had this before, this issue before. So I knew there was an answer somewhere, but I couldn't remember what the answer was. And she started telling me to click here, click there, click everywhere. And in the end, I said, if you don't know the answer, please ask someone else who does and get back to me. Because I wasn't going to sit there just clicking, because she didn't know. It was obvious to me. She didn't know the answer.
And she
should have said, I will get back to you. I'm sorry, I don't, but she didn't. I actually had to say, look, basically, I'm not going to waste my time, because it's obvious you don't know the answer. They will get back to me. They will give me the answer, but I just didn't want to waste my time.
It wasn't an easy experience like the other one. So there's the thing, right? So remembering that your customers, if you're too busy or your pipeline's too full, these are the things that you're going to let go. And these are the things that are going to affect your business moving forward. Yes. And this is why you end up panicking tomorrow, right? Correct. Because you've dropped customer service. Yep. The other thing you've probably dropped, as we spoke before, is that quote process.
Yes.
You're not following up and doing all of that.
Correct.
Your inconsistent marketing, which is the other thing, not knowing your numbers, your P&Ls, everything. What else was there? Which jobs gave you poor margins? Yep. We haven't spoken about that. How much money, what expenses are coming up, if you've had a very busy month. And then choosing the right work. I feel like when you're panicking, you may, or when you start out, or when you're back in that, I got to start again, you may, just to keep the cash flow coming in and the doors open, you may choose customers that aren't right for you.
Correct.
Or the wrong type of work. So you might do a project where you're reconciling all their bank statements for the last 5 years.
Oh, no.
Just say. And they went 5 different banks, so, and then you're going, geez, I don't like doing this. But you take it because you need the money to come in. And I feel like those are the mistakes that we make all the time, right? So we choose customers to keep the doors open, but then they're actually not the right customer either. So I feel like that's something to keep a thing on. The other one is is delegation and systems. So we have spoken about that, but we haven't spoken much about delegation.
No, but you have to have somebody to delegate to.
Yeah. So even if you do have a staff member, or you can find someone who you can delegate to help you take some of that load off. And when you're really super busy, it's really hard to do that, to even have the headspace to think about it.
Correct.
And then when you're panicking, you can't put someone on because you don't have the cash flow coming through.
No.
So it's a bit of a dilemma, isn't it?
It is. But then,
so how would you get around that?
You have to pick the right time to do it, I think.
Probably when you're busy.
No, before you...
It's a chicken and an egg. I don't know.
Before
I'm too
you
busy. I don't have time to do it.
Before you get too busy, think about Jim. He's employed. He's always talking, well, not always, but on and off.
He talks his admin all day.
No, I'm thinking about getting extra
staff.
Trade staff.
Yeah.
So he's definitely thinks ahead, because you guys have your weekly meetings and everything. So, and I'm pretty sure he employs people in advance of becoming too busy.
Too busy, yeah.
But like you say, you have to pick the right time.
You have to pick and I feel like you're better off starting, even if you are busy, or when you feel the work starting to slow down. I feel like, you've got to look, we've done this. I know I've done this where I've gone, geez, Crystal, we're back here again. Like, we have to start again and get those marketing out there and get your sales up again and start learning how to talk and sell again and all that sort of stuff. And I feel like that delegating some of that constant marketing out to somebody that brings those leads in.
Yes, yeah.
Then you could focus on maybe an admin person, or maybe taking one of your senior staff members or staff member that you feel you could trust or is capable of the work, instead of doing it ad hoc, sort of have a plan, right?
I guess the admin person will be the person you get when you are booked out, so that you can continue doing your marketing.
Yeah.
To continue to be booked out.
Yes.
You wouldn't want to, as soon as you're panicking, that's probably the bad time to employ anybody.
It's interesting that sometimes you may put an admin on. I've just had this experience with a client, and they've just hired, they had a good admin, they had lots of work, and now their workload's dropped off a lot. But in that time, they've had that good admin leave and they've hired a new one. And the question, I'm just thinking aloud here, the question is, how good is this new admin at selling? Yes, the leads have dropped off, but how good is she at when she's talking to that, like that lady with the glass door, that the cat door, doggy door, how she was super friendly and asked all the right questions and got you engaged, right? And answered your problems, your questions that you had. And I'm wondering whether this admin person is actually doing that, and he hasn't trained her because he hasn't had the time. And now I'm wondering whether that's had a side-on effect with the business as well. Possibly. So maybe you don't have time to check on how your staff are actually doing it until it's too late, right?
I think you often rely on other people, especially marketing, to do marketing.
Yeah, that's easy.
Don't do a good job. Or it's difficult to monitor.
I think a lot of us don't do a good job because we don't have a strategy behind our marketing. We just sort of throw things out there because it feels good. Or we see someone else.
I do that. It feels good, so I do. It's true though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It feels good.
And then it feels good. And then you go, oh, I like that.
But it's not having
I'll do that. And then you do that copy thing, you know, like, so I feel like having a good strategy, you know, like if you're doing this.
Strategy.
I think you've got to have that behind your marketing, how you're going to get it. Yeah. Where do you get your good leads from? What referral? And I think with sales, it's not just about Google Ads leads, which I see a lot of business relying on now completely for their leads. However, you need to be out there building referral partners. You need to be talking to people who will pass you on work. Like you need a mixture of all of those, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
It's like you need 5 areas of where your business comes from. So if one pillar goes down, you've got your other 4 to produce. Yeah. And I feel like, what are your 5 pillars? That would be a good exercise to do, wouldn't it?
Yes.
The 7th thing that would stop the cycle is building repeat and referral business, which is kind of what we're saying now. Yeah. So it really is about building that up. Yeah. And, keeping a list of your past customers is important. So job management systems do this for you automatically. You don't have to create a new spreadsheet. Yep. Send reminders for maintenance and services.
Now, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even in a service thing, like if I use your bookkeeping and even for myself, like there are things that I do that perhaps they haven't done. Like the DIS profile. Like for you, would you like me to follow up your outstanding monies? I noticed you got a bit in there. Yeah. There's, maintenance. Yep. Your deck. We came and did your deck 5 years ago. I think it needs a coat of paint now.
I've actually got a new client who's into refrigeration services, and don't ask me to understand too much about it, but I'm getting a lot of emails because I'm on their email list now about services that they can offer. Yeah. So, I mean, and I'm actually the bookkeeper.
I think that is one of the most underrated things that we can do because you've already got existing past. I have quite a big comeback of existing clients that come back. And I often will reach out to them and just have a chat, see how they go, because I'm interested. Yeah. But also I do send out a newsletter that talks about this and that, and I've got a meeting coming up. And I think it's just that reminder that just I need help again. Yep. And I'm thinking that it's such an easy thing to do if they, like that guy with your deck when they did it the other time, like 10 years ago.
Yep.
They should have been in contact with you 5 years later and said, you know what, your deck's 5 years old or 3 years old. If we just came and did a quick sand.
That was hire a hubby.
Oh, you should tell Jim.
I will.
Because that would be a really
that
good
is true, yes.
way
Look through
to
what
get
people have had
working.
done and that might be repeat business. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Because it wouldn't be hard to find in these systems,
I can
right?
I could see the light go on there, Crystal.
Yes, guess what's talking our next meeting. Bloody hell, we forgot about that. Ask happy clients for referrals can help as well. So then you're getting those referrals in, references
That's something
in.
people don't do in general enough. I don't do it enough.
Yeah. I don't do it enough either. Thank people who refer your work.
Okay, yeah.
Because I don't think we do that enough as well. I know Jim, for the amount of work he gets from this one company, he will go in twice a year, and there's 30 of them that work here. Not all of them give him work. And he'll go, Zoe will ring up and get everybody's coffee order for the 30 people.
Yes.
They ring the coffee shop up. Jim texts them
You're
the
giving away
order.
your secrets now. I think it's a great
And then
idea.
I don't even know how he carries 30 coffees
Can
in
I
there.
get a coffee too if it's too my deck?
I'll tell him. You're a good customer. And then build relationships with complementary businesses, create simple referral partnerships, stay in touch with good customers.
As an example, you and I work really well together.
Yes.
Bookkeeper, business coach.
Yes. Yeah, we referred a lot of
Whoever
business to
needs
each other
a
over the
bookkeeper
years.
needs a business coach, and whoever needs a business coach often needs a bookkeeper. I think I get more this way than going that way, but I think it works well.
You used to give me a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yes, I always need a very, very good bookkeeper, and I need one that's very communicative and likes to learn new systems and things as well. I like a bookkeeper that's up to date. It just helps me keep up to date as well. And what's new, things change so much. And I feel like any business, if you're like, especially like, a lot's probably changed in how we do decks. There's a lot of modwood now that needs less maintenance. Yeah. There's a lot of things there that you could have, that they could offer you, I guess.
But talking about Jim as a tradie, I know he refers to and from the plumber, to a builder, to a pest control person, to
the real estates, because he often finds out people are selling.
Yeah. So referral partners can be a great way to get new business.
He actually he was at a client's house in Manly, and she was an elderly lady who was moving into a retirement or moving to Queensland to a daughter or something. And Jim actually said, have you spoken to a real estate? And she said no. And Jim knew of this really good real estate agent who was in Manly. And Jim rang him as he was leaving and said, oh, Mrs. Brown really is thinking of selling. I've given her your number, but here's her number. You should give her a ring. And he actually rang Jim up and he thanked him and said, I've never, ever had a handyman refer me work before.
Okay, wow.
And he said, thank you so much. But that was probably an eye-opener for him. He's probably talking to a lot of handymen now too. So, but it just shows you never know who knows, right? So that's why keeping in contact with people, you never know who knows who to be able to help you with work. Protecting time to work on the business. We haven't spoken. We're getting to the end here, by the way.
Good.
The plane's coming into land. So to stop the cycle is also protecting time to work on the business.
Yeah. Well, we all know that, don't we?
I don't know if we all know that.
We know that. Well, maybe we don't. I know that I should spend time.
Yeah. It's a common phrase, isn't it?
Yeah.
I need to work more on the business. And so, what does that mean? So that means everything that we've spoken about, knowing what your pipeline is, how much money are you making from each client, how many quotes have you got in your system,
Are you making a profit?
What's your cash flow, having that weekly meeting on that weekly meeting really is about your pipeline or your leads coming in. It's about your profit. It's about how many quote referrals, is the admin doing the right thing or not? It's all about that, isn't it? And it's that consistency again.
To prevent you panicking tomorrow.
And maybe the final thing on that, working time on the business, is a bit of a mindset change.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
So actually spending time. There's a guy who wrote this book called Keith Cunningham. It's sitting on my desk right now.
I saw it yesterday. I can't remember
what's the name of that book?
It's a bit of an odd name. Never mind.
Anyway, Keith Cunningham. And he talks about that every single day you should spend 20 minutes sitting in a chair and ponder over a particular issue.
That's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah. The road less stupid.
That was it. Yes, the road less
stupid. The road less stupid. And it's all about small business. A really good book to read. Texan, he's a bit straight down. He just tells it as it is, which I really like. And he talks about you having this time out where you actually sit in a chair, think about this particular issue and just write down everything that comes into your head. I've heard that before,
maybe from him or from somebody else a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a great idea.
It works. So, or you get a coach, I guess, or you can use your bookkeeper, or you can use a friend, or you can use your partner. But it's having that meeting or project manager or whoever's in your business that you feel like you can hold each other accountable with, and then actually having those conversations.
Not your partner or your wife or husband.
Yeah, if they're not in the business.
That was our other podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was our other podcast. The strongest businesses do not wait for panic before they act. Yes, they keep marketing when they are busy.
Yes.
They follow up before work dries up.
Yep.
They check the numbers before cash gets tight.
Mm-hmm.
They build systems before the business owner burns out. They plan before the pressure arrives.
Yes.
And they understand that a full diary is not a business strategy.
There you go.
I think
well said.
I think that covers it.
It does. I think so.
Good one.
Thank you.
See you on the next one, Kate.
Yep.